Welcome to The Unfinished Work Week, a show for those working 55, 60, or 65 hours a week. And now, here is your host, Andy Guterowitz.
Well, good evening, everybody. As you can see, we're still in New York, but somehow we're also in Tampa. And later on, in a couple of minutes, we're going to be in Miami. So you're going to get a little tour of action tonight. Tonight we're going to talk about the same topic that I've been stressing upon you for, 5 or 6 weeks right now. And that is stress, right? This show is about solution to the stress-filled workplace. That's what it's about. We have to identify the stress factors, and then we've got to get some solutions in. So make sure you give us a call. And now I know Chris is going to put it at the bottom of the screen. And that number is 813-639-8255. Write that down, please. 813-639-8255. And finally, I want to give a hello to my friend Trevor Lott, like I do every week. He is so great to us. He's over there in the UK, and he does big things with SEO in Europe and in Asia, and he's been nice enough to put us first on the search pages. If you searched over there in Europe for, internet radio, TV, guess what would come up? Talking Business with Andy G. So he's doing a great job for us, and I thank him so very, very much. Now, to open the show tonight, I've got to talk to you a little bit about this stress, because the people that I have on the show tonight understand stress because they've gone through it. And it's really interesting how they also want to help people with stress, chronic stress, just like I'm trying to help you not even get it, all right? But here's some factors for you. I had this theory. The theory was that since I did not, when I was in the corporate world, work under the stressful conditions that people are doing today, I firmly believe that the younger generations are the ones that have more chronic stress. So I went on the internet today and I checked it out. Generation, the millennials. The millennials have 19% depression rate. 19%. Now they're followed by Gen X with 14%. Baby boomers only have 12%. And the retired people only have 11%. So you can see that this chronic depression isn't affecting hardly on our seniors. It's affecting our baby boomers, but the last part of the boomers. But it's really whacking up into Gen X and the millennials. And the millennials mainly because they can't find work. I mean, they're 13 to 14% unemployment. And finally, chronic stress results in serious health problems, including anxiety, insomnia, muscle pain, high blood pressure, and a weakened immune system because your telomeres are killing your chromosomes. Research shows that stress contributes to the development of major illnesses such as heart disease, depression, and you got it, obesity. And what's big in the United States today? Overweight and obesity, stress, cortisol. So we're going to talk tonight with folks from the Prestige Wellness and Aesthetics Company over in Fort Lauderdale. Two marvelous people. The first person we're going to be talking to is Tom Widerski. He's the health and nutrition coach there. Now, he's had stress in his life, and we're going to discuss that and what he does to overcome it and what he can do for you. So, if you don't mind, can we say hello to Tom Widerski over there in Fort Lauderdale? Hey, Tom, how are you?
Hey, Andy, doing excellent. Like we say, suntastic down here today.
Suntastic.
Another day in paradise.
People don't understand that, we're in Tampa or New York, wherever I want to be, but it's a lot colder up here than it is down in Miami, Fort Lauderdale.
Absolutely right. But southern Florida is different than North Florida. Absolutely right.
Yeah, by about 10 degrees, no?
Yeah, all the time. We're a little closer to the equator, a little closer to the sun, and it's warmer down there. Most of the time, you guys get a little cooler out there, but the ocean keeps all those cold over the Gulf breezes that we have down here.
Yeah. Now you had a great job before. You were a captain, right, of these beautiful yachts.
Yes, sir. Worked my way up out the ladder. First, I was a captain over there in Naples, Marco Islands, on small tour boats. Went from there down to Everglades National Park. Ran boats down there for a year. We moved to Fort Lauderdale to work my way up to work on the big white boats, we call them, the big yachts.
The big yachts.
Big yachts, 150 footers, 100 footers, on 10 to $25 million yachts.
Yeah, you told me that they're like 3 stories high. I mean,
stories.
for goodness sakes, they're like cruise vessels.
Absolutely right. They're private. They're all private. They're just for a family.
So how long did you do that?
Actually, did that going on 7 years.
Now, to me, Tom, I would think that would probably be the job that I would really want. You're in the open water, you got the sun, you got this beautiful vessel that you're touring around with, you're going to exotic places. Why in the world did you stop doing it?
Well, I'll tell you the truth, Danny, it's like anything else. When I was growing up, kids would always buy hot rod books. I always bought yachting books. That was something I wanted to do. I always grew up on the water, and I've always wanted to work in those big white boats. Got to the point down there when on everything else, on anything in life, when you're on the outside looking in, it looks a little bit different. Work your way up, get that job. Now you're on the inside looking out. It's not quite what you thought it was.
Meaning
on the
what?
outside, there's a lot of stress there, very much stress.
What kind of stress? Where does this stress come from? How does it evolve?
Well, the stress, for one thing, you got to remember these boats are very, very complicated machineries. They're like cities. They make their own water, they make their own electricity, they have their own sanitation plants on them, and these things are very, very complicated. If something goes wrong, you got guests on board. Some boats have an engineer. The engineer does nothing but fix the boats. If you don't have an engineer on board, if the AV system goes out, you got guests on board. If the refrigerator goes out, you got guests on board. That's instant stress. You got to fix it right now because they don't want to interrupt their party. They don't want to interrupt nothing that they're doing. You get to learn that, and each boat has the same pumps, the same things that go on out, so you get to learn that pretty good. You can feel the boat, get to know your boat. Another thing on stress goes is that you're a captain. You're on call 24/7. If that owner wants to go out, if I'm talking to you right now, if I'm the captain of this yacht, and that phone calls, he wants to do a midnight cruise tonight at 12 o'clock, I got to go.
Holy cow.
Cut this short, I gotta go. So that's the part in that yachting part that you don't really realize. The people I've met in that yachting world are phenomenal people. They're excellent people. I love them to death, and they're really quality people. The people that make that whole industry work. That it's a small industry. I mean, we go from here, we go other parts of the world to the Med, you're gonna see somebody that's on another boat. Because that's how small it really is. It's a big kind of a circle. As they go from the Med to here to the Virgin Islands and back to the Med again. They kind of this big round robin kind of a thing.
Okay. Now this apparently stressed you out quite a bit and affected your health probably. Why did you get involved in becoming a nutritionist health coach?
Well, I've always been into nutrition most of my life. I mean, 25 years ago, I probably put the vegetarian Whopper on their menu. I mean, 20 years ago, I was eating a Whopper without meat on it then. Not that I don't eat any meat, but I still eat meat, but I've always been in health and nutrition. Even when I worked on the yachts, the chefs would make me different meals because I would tell them how to do it. Take this out, take that out, don't put the butter in here, don't do this in there. And then we could kind of work around with that. But it's always been drawing me back to my passion is to want to help people. My passion is to help them as the best I can in the nutritional world. And that was taking me away from this. And so that's why I made a decision that pays really well. This will. So let's just make this grow, and then we'll equal that. But I mean, there's more gratification here doing it, helping people, and especially if somebody comes back and say, Tom, I really feel good about myself now.
Isn't that a great feeling? That's a fantastic feeling. Let me give you one last question. I know that you're involved with Eve in Prestige, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And, how are things going? Are things going very well for you there? Do you have a lot of clients? Are you getting a lot of clients? Why are they coming to you?
The answer to those questions, yes, we're getting a lot of clients. They're coming one at a time. It only takes one at a time. We can't help everybody. Something that we do here And Eve, I met Eve over a year ago. This was her dream. She went through cancer a while ago, but her dream was to have a wellness center. I met her over a year ago, and her and I together, we make a great team. She's a spiritual person, and if we could bottle her up, put her in a pill, give her to everybody, this would be a happy, happy world. Well, she does an excellent job at that.
I'll tell you what, Tom, you know, the business that I'm in, even when I began my consulting business many years ago, it was about helping people.
Absolutely.
And as you know, this program is about helping people, especially in the corporate world today, because it's so different than it was when I was in it. There's so much stress. So you and I are on the same boat, and so hopefully we're going to talk again soon and work something out where we can get you on here once in a while, and you can give some more knowledge out to our listeners.
I'd definitely love to be on an Ask the Health Coach, or a series Ask the Health Coach a question. I'd be happy to help, do whatever you got, whatever I can do to help.
Okay. Now, why don't you tell us what the phone number is so they can call you?
239-253-3050. Thomas, or the web page is thomaswiderski.com.
Okay. And your email?
thomaswiderski@gmail.com.
Okay. And
And
Widerski
the website here at the center is prwell.com.
prwell.com.
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic, Tom. Thank you so much for being on the show tonight.
Thank you, Andy, for having me. I really appreciate it.
Hope to talk to you soon.
I do too. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Now we'll take a short break.
The beloved 55-hour work week. Who created it? Management or employees? Management claims their employees lack necessary collaborative communication and critical thinking skills, while employees feel management helped create the infamous 37% unproductive work week. Employers counter with the claim 20% of workers lack even the most rudimentary creative skills, while 71% of workers claim managers create ineffective and irrelevant meetings. Finally, executives want people who can make decisions, interact with their team in a manner that is easily understood. But if employees spend over 50% of the time managing their email, do they really have the time to learn new techniques? Well, so who is right? The answer is neither. First, both managers and employees are a management team, so stop pointing fingers at one another. And the management teams are complaining of the lack of effective communication. How many managers or employees understand the rules of memorable interaction? And certainly there are rules. Here are a few facts you should know before communicating. First, 90% of the day's events are forgotten. So how do you get into that 10% retention pool? Second, you only have the capacity to remember 8 new things in an hour. Just 8 new things. How much new information was included in your last meeting? And finally, we speak over 16,000 words a day, but it's like talking to ourselves because 86% of what we remember is seen and only 9% heard. So reduce the 55-hour work week while creating management teams that have effective, memorable interaction with coworkers, work well together, and take action on their own. Have the management team visit theunfinishedworkweek.com to learn all the rules to effective, memorable interaction. Or just call me, Andy Gutierrez, at 609-410-9291 for an appointment.
Oh, we're back here again, and we just got done talking with Tom Widerski. And now we're going to talk to the director of Prestige Wellness and Aesthetics. She's a woman that understands stress in a big way, just like Tom did. And so everybody that's going to be on the show understands it, and they want to help you. So why don't you give a warm welcome to our friend Eve Presti. Eve!
Hello. Hi, Andy.
How are you?
Doing just wonderful. Fantastic.
Very good, very good. Tom told us the same thing.
great minds think alike.
You know, Eve, in speaking with you today, earlier in the day, and, you got your Skype working, huh? You're learning that stuff.
Oh, yes, it's quite easy once you get the hang of it. It's nice. It's great to have Skype.
Yeah, and you know what? Just a thought process, but you might use Skype to do some long-range coaching.
Tom and I were discussing that. That's absolutely something we are focused on, and we would like to do that.
Yeah, you could do it worldwide. I mean, right now this show is being shown or can be shown to an audience of over 65 million registered listeners, viewers.
Wow, that's amazing. That's great.
Yeah, but that's the internet. That's the internet. So
Yes.
let's get into a little bit here so people can understand your situation. I take it your background was in the banking industry?
Absolutely. I started in 1994 with Barnett, and I was there for 18 years. And yes, I know what it's like to work in corporate America, 9 to 5 and then 9 to 6, or weekends, and really it's just a fast-paced, moving environment and a lot of stress, as we all know, with the corporate America.
But most of the people that I see at banks, because you must have had a good job in a bank, because most people in a bank, that I've stopped in and seen, but I talk to tellers and I talk to, the customer service agents, and they say they work 9 to 5. Once in a while they work a Saturday, but they're not putting in the 55, 60 hours a week like you were. So I imagine you must have been in sales or something, right?
Well, I started as a teller, and I worked my way up to small business, and then I was working as a business banker, doing business loans, and working from 8 till 6, sometimes longer. It was sales, heavy duty sales.
That's what I figured.
Yes.
That's what I figured. And so the stress that finally got to you working in a bank, because people say, yeah, they work in a bank, they got a cushy, they work bank hours, but that's not altogether true. What kind of stress got into you? I mean, what was the stress for?
Goals, and you had to meet certain goals and criteria, and conference calls and meetings, and half an hour for lunch, this and that. It was like a lot of running around, being up early, and just always being on calls and meetings, and just a heavy duty schedule.
I got to ask you a question, Eve. Mm-hmm. It's been said that 71% of corporate meetings are useless. Is that true?
I have to agree with that. Yes, absolutely.
So in the meantime of doing the meeting bit, you could be doing your work, right?
Absolutely.
And that would have cut down on your stress.
At the time.
Yeah. So when did you actually do most of your work?
Well, I would do it during the day, in between clients and customers. I'd have call lists and people I'd have to, call and check up on, and always make my follow-up calls at the end of the day. And, there's always someone to call. In my phone, the messages would just be one after the other. So I had a lot of messages to return.
Yeah.
So between, my clients and setting up appointments.
So would you ever work like on weekends or anything to catch up?
No, I would work Saturday, sometimes part-time, but no, I never worked like after 1 on a Saturday or on Sundays. No.
Now, what did this stress do to you? Did it do to your mind mentally or physically or?
Well, yeah, I felt like I've always felt rushed. I didn't feel relaxed. Someone was always waiting to see me, and you had to hurry up, and just I never felt really totally relaxed. And believe it or not, I was working at my previous job at Bank of America, and I had this vision of speaking to millions of people and doing a lot of public speaking and really doing something with wellness. And this vision came so clear to me one day afternoon. I was just like, I had this like premonition. I said, well, something's going to change. So I told them I was going to quit. And I went to a different bank. I went to Chase, and yet I still felt like I still wasn't in the right place. And now it's just happening. Everything is just unfolding naturally as it should, because I'm allowing, the doors to open. And that's just like when those doors, someone's knocking on the door, you feel there's a change where you have to go with your your intuition, your gut feeling. And I'm so glad and very thankful that I'm doing what I really love to do, and that's helping people. So
Yeah.
I'm in the right spot, and I feel I resonate with it quite well.
Yeah, like I told Tom, that's when I opened up my own business, which was back in '93. It was about that. That was my mission statement, if you want to call it that. A statement of purpose for the company was of helping people and their families, you know? And so now you and Tom and I and a lot of other people are in the position of helping people get better, more healthy, so they can be around for their families instead of, cutting short their life by 6 or 10 years because of chronic stress.
Right, that creates inflammation. Your cells are not working properly. You just feel stressed, fatigued. It's not good. The mind, body, and soul really can create a disease or can create sickness in the body. And, keeping the mind relaxed and calm and positive at all times is where optimal health begins, and where you can see clearly when you're relaxed. You can feel things. I mean, everything is just, so there's so much more clarity in your life when you're relaxed and you're stress-free, and when you're eating properly and you're exercising, and then you're just going about your day. It's just, there's so much more beauty. And just accepting, allowing, the universe to take place and go with the flow naturally with the universe instead of rushing things and just not being where you're supposed to be.
Yeah. You know, Tom is there as a nutritionist and the health coach. Now, what do you personally offer your clients that seek out Prestige? And by the way, Prestige, folks, is spelled Prestege. And I wonder why, because Eve's last name is Presti. So what do you personally do to help your clients?
Well, what I do is I'm a hypnotist. And what I do is I help people overcome habits. I relieve stress. I help them relieve stress and anxiety, weight loss, any type of bad habit. I work with the subconscious mind, and when my patient or my client is at a really relaxed frame of mind, and I put them deep under, that's when I plant different positive things into their mind what they can do. There might be an obstacle or something blocking that person's mind from achieving what they want to achieve, and I go there and I open it up, or I might remove something and bury it and just get it out of their consciousness, something that it's like a habit or something that doesn't resonate with them. And I also use Reiki too, because I have a lot of energy in my hands, and I really help people by opening up the heart chakra and mind. And once I open the heart up, a lot of healing takes place. And it's amazing the miracles that happen when someone agrees and they really want help, and they're coming to me, and I connect with them first before I go into the hypnosis state. I really get to learn that personality, and I make, so they trust me and they know me. And then once that happens, it just takes place, and it's just a wonderful, wonderful setting.
How long does one of these therapies that you do actually last, Steve? A day, 2 days, a week? I mean...
Well, this is the thing. My session is an hour, but I tell my clients, I help them raise their vibrational energy, their awareness, their higher consciousness. But it's their responsibility when they leave me to keep that energy raised, to keep that vibrational energy going. And they have to keep that going by the positive thoughts, by optimism, by relaxation. So they take what I learn, what I teach them subconsciously, they take that with them, and they go on to continue with that energy. Because, I can't be with them all the time, so they have to learn how to channel that energy and keep it going positive at all times and vibrating at a higher level.
Yeah, I've been hypnotized. At one point in time, I was afraid to go over big bridges with a hump in it, and also tunnels. If I couldn't see
right behind you, right?
If I couldn't see the light at the end of a tunnel, forget about it. My anxiety was over the hill, So, but he gave me a post-hypnotic suggestion. And when I went over the Verrazano Bridge in New York, I don't know if you've ever been over that bridge, but it's the second largest suspension bridge in the United States. So it's big.
Oh, boy.
And after he gave me that suggestion, I actually made it over that bridge and got stuck on the top because of New York traffic, but I was fine.
That's correct, Andy, because that subconscious, that statement, it stays in your subconscious mind. And then when you're in that scenario or that setting, your subconscious mind remembers what is said to you, and you just feel so relaxed. The same thing with fear of heights, that you're just like, it's just removed from, you're either feeling safe, relaxed, or it's removed from your subconscious. And that's a technique that we do when you're under hypnosis.
Okay.
So you're feeling relaxed when you're going over the bridge. You have no fears. It's removed.
So one of the things, if you want to, come back again and speak with us, I do want to discuss how we can help people working 55, 60, and 65 hours a week, which is not good for them.
No, it's not.
And find out how we can help them stop doing that and not feeling guilty about maybe not getting an assignment done on time or letting their boss down. But can we talk about those things in the future?
Absolutely. I would love to.
Yeah, those are important things. Really,
and
really
balance
important.
is so important. The work-life balance must be, when something is out of balance, that's when things happen, mentally or physically, or a disease takes place. It's all about the balance.
Yeah, and right now, believe me, I'm gonna quote some numbers here in a minute, but believe me, the corporate world has got exempt employees, and you know what an exempt employee is. Mm-hmm. But it's almost like slave labor. It's once they become an exempt employee, you get dumped on and dumped on and dumped on and expect to get it done.
The workload gets heavier and heavier. Yes.
Yeah, and so that's what I want to find out something there, a common denominator of how we can help these people say no, push back.
We can do that with hypnosis as well.
Yeah, because they're killing themselves.
Yes.
Slowly but surely, they're killing themselves, and they don't realize it.
They might not realize till it's too late. Like in my case, I'm very grateful and I'm very fortunate to be sitting here and talking to you today, because if I hadn't, done some things in my life, I don't know if I'd be here today. I really don't. And I'm very, very fortunate, and I'm blessed to be here.
And we're happy you're there.
I'm blessed to pay it forward and help people that have helped me in my life. And that's my mission right now, is to help others, because I've been helped in many ways that are just miracles in my life that have taken place, that we can go on at another time. But there's many blessings, and abundance is definitely in my life. And I'm truly blessed.
Great. Then we're all going to stick together in helping people.
Yes.
This is a good thing.
Absolutely.
This is a good thing. Eve, thank you so much. Now, what's the number people can catch you at?
My number is 954-263-9555, and it's www.prwell.com is the website. Yes. And my email is eve.preste@aol.com.
Eve.Preste, Preste, @AOL.com, right?
You got it. Correct, Andy.
Okay, great. I thank you so much for being on the show, Eve.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much, Andy.
Okay.
Talk to you soon.
Have a nice evening.
Thanks.
Holy cow. I mean, you look out there and you find these people that, that want to help people. Because why? Because they've gone through it already. I mean, Eve's story is really a lot more deeper than she wants to talk about, but this poor little thing could have been dead. And instead she's back, and she wants to help people not go through the same things that she went through. And I'm here and open this gosh darn radio station up because I'm seeing people I really care about, people I really, really care about, going through the stress of working for these blooming corporations, and it's like Trish Dwyer said, these corporations make you feel a little bit inferior. They make you feel that you can't get the job done because they're asking you to do the impossible, and you're not going to get anywhere doing the impossible. And you're only going to make yourself sick, and that's going to be about it. So now I've got my friend on. You got to meet her. She's my producer, by the way, my other producer besides Chris. But she's doing a heck of a job revamping this show and getting us some great guests on the show. And she's going to be talking to us with our friend Dr. Howard, who was on the show last week with his, if you don't remember, his magnetic blanket that is similar to Star Trek, believe it or not, but it's available today, that can actually look at your body and look at your cells. So Are you out there, you two? Are you out there, Valerie?
Hello, Valerie here.
Valerie here. How about my friend Dr. Howard?
Yes, Sandy, we have Dr. Howe here as well, and he's going to be talking. I just thought that was a great segment with Eve. She's the type that's beautiful from the inside out. Really good conversation and all. Looking forward to, and Tom too. What an exciting thing! You'd think he was in a stress-free world with being a boat captain, but you know what? All employment, all kinds of situations, like we were talking about the other day, like Maslow's hierarchy of values. Unless you're doing something you absolutely love or you're calling, it's going to feel burdensome to you. So we just hope that all the people out there that are having to go to work on a daily basis are loving what they do, and then they wouldn't have any stress. But anyway, I wanted to thank you for doing such great interviews there.
Thank you.
And I wanted to also mention. Well, I'll let Howie come on and speak with you. And then when he's finished, I just wanted to tell you about a few upcoming things that I have planned for us.
Okay, great.
And so we have Dr. Howard Stoller.
It's the first time I'm going to
he
see
can be
Howard. I didn't
reached.
see Howard the last time.
I sent that over too.
No, but I haven't seen Howard. The last time I didn't
He's
see him.
coming. Howie, you want to come over here?
Where's Howie?
Dr. Stoller is here, and he'll tell you all about everything he wants to talk about. Bye now.
Hey, Doctor, where are you?
Hello? Andy,
Doctor, hello.
how are you?
I'm good. It's good to see you and meet you.
Good to see you, and great to be on your show again this week.
Oh, it's
Hello,
always good to
everyone.
have you here. It's always good to have you here. Did you hear those 2 interviews we just had?
Yes, I really enjoyed those segments. Very interesting and right along the lines of what we're all working to do here. As Eve said, life is full of so many wonderful blessings, and I always say a gift is not a gift until it's given. So to share and help other people, that's really the most beautiful thing that we can do.
And it seems like we're forming a little group over here, Doctor, of
Yes.
myself, Valerie, you, Tom, Eve, the other people I've had on the show. We want to help people understand what life is being dealt to them today and how they can fix it.
Yes, exactly. So many of us are so influenced by forces that are really not outside of our control, but we are convinced to think that they are. We've been convinced more and more lately to think that we have to act a certain way, have to believe a certain way, cannot act another way, cannot even, in many cases, show our true feelings. Well, this is all so wrong. And any of you who have not read George Orwell's 1984, it is a must read. It was truly prophetic about the world as it would be in 1984. This was written many years before that, and certainly, Andy, as we too well know, it is today.
It is today, Yahweh. Boy, oh boy. He foresaw the future, didn't he? He was prophetic.
They sure did. They sure did. So we have a really wonderful opportunity here to all pull together and do everything we can to help others with stress. Now, stress is not really a choice. It's inevitable. You can't really eliminate it unless you want to go live in a bubble somewhere. But even that would become stressful eventually.
Yeah,
Okay?
yeah.
Because of the loneliness and the isolation. So everything has its pros and cons. And as Eve said, it's all about balance. That's one of the things that I always teach. One of the first and most important things I teach as a living coach. And I have many clients all across the country, as Eve was speaking about, helping people long distance. That's a very effective way to help people and help them to manage their budget, because for us to fly, across the country to have some therapy or some treatment can be extremely, extremely expensive.
Doctor,
So glad we have so many different ways to work with people.
Yeah, but maybe, just maybe, because this has been done before with people that go out and do public speaking. I've done public speaking, etc. But, maybe we make a little bit of a caravan. Yourself, Eve, Tom, and we all go off to some major cities and deliver the message.
Road trip.
Yeah.
Sounds good to me.
Are you going to foot the bill?
No, the people coming to see us are going to foot the bill.
That might be a great idea, Andy.
That's not a bad idea because, number one, we've got to get the word out.
Yeah.
And number two, when you go into a city, I mean, that's the way to do it.
Yes, well, as your health and wellness correspondent, of course, I am sure you're aware that I will be broadcasting from different interesting venues as well as here at the studio, and I look forward to bringing everyone the newest, latest breakthroughs in health and healing, many of which, of course, have come from our distant past. And that's the beauty of health, wellness, healing. It's a big circle. It's a never-ending trip, journey that we can all take together. And when we look to nature and how everything is created to work perfectly together, we can soon see some of the not so obscure secrets, if you will, to being healthy, being well, being happy, and living a fulfilling life.
Yeah, well, Doctor, I appreciate that, and I believe that, and I also want to ask you this. As part of this show, we are going to have the Doctor's Corner, and I want that doctor to be you. You'll have 5 minutes every show.
Well, send me a proposal and I'll review it.
You're a good one, aren't you, Doctor?
Sounds terrific to me, Andy. Unless you have any specific questions, I guess that pretty much wraps it up for me tonight, huh?
Okay, yeah.
All right. Great being on your show again, as always, and I look forward to hopefully next week doing it again.
Great. Thank you so much, Doctor.
My pleasure. You have a wonderful week.
Bye-bye. Now, Valerie, you there?
I'm here. You know, I wanted to...
You got 2 minutes, Val.
Okay, I wanted to give a heads up on a next show.
We can't see your face, sweetheart.
Oh, how about now? Oh, I don't want to get too close.
No. You just have the Okay, you're good.
I wanted to let you know that I'm going to be inviting Miss Victoria Hagendorf on next week of Broward Lifestyles magazine. She's going to be talking about, you know, a lot of interesting things that are going on, events and different things related with her magazine there, and a few other guests that we're going to have on that are very exciting. And I ask all of the people that are listening now, if they're interested in doing a segment with us, please give me a call at 561-755-7068. And if you want to advertise with us or come on as a guest, we'll be delighted to have you on. And also, our email. The email to send to would be Valerie Bass at Radio Time Productions. And the telephone number I gave you, 561-755-7068. And Dr. Stoller can also be reached at that number, and his email is askdrhow@yahoo.com. And you'll be seeing him again next week, and me too. And you keep up the good work, and
I know, or you'll fire me if I don't keep up the good work, right?
That's it.
Thanks a bunch, Val.
Thanks, Andy.
Talk to you soon.
Yes.
Okay, now, I guess these are going to be some closing statements for you this evening. And, you know, we've listened to some people here. We're going to be talking alternative medicines. You know, when you go to a regular doctor's, this is a thing I read today, by the way. I read today that every time that when people go to the doctors, they never, hardly ever, I should say, tell them about their mental conditions or their stress. Isn't that something? Everybody is under it, but hardly anybody ever talks to their primary care physician about stress and their state of mind. Now, that should be a first step. They've got to help you. However, the healthcare industry, I also read, is far behind the ball as far as having the proper coverage for you, whatever healthcare your plan is. And that'll be some of the things we're going to talk to doctors about when we get them on the show. But I did want to do this for you. I'm a little bit prophetic. I told you a while back that when a non-exempt employee, and that's a person that works 40 hours and can make overtime, and that law, by the way, is called the Fair Labor Standard Act. And do you know when that was put into force and acted? During the Depression. That's when that law was enacted. Okay? So you work 40 hours, over 40 hours, you get time and a half. Great. Well, they were so nice that they updated that. Mr. George Bush, or President George Bush, in 2004, was so nice to upgrade that bill that he said this: if you're making $23,600 a year, you can be an exempt employee. And you know what that means? If you're making $23,600 a year, you're exempt. Well, that means that company can make you work as many hours as they want you to work. They can pile the work on, pile the work on, pile the work on. Isn't this fantastic stuff? You know, the Depression, you get to 2004, they up the pay to $23,600 and you can be exempt. That's a little bit over minimum wage, for goodness sakes. So I'm telling you this for a reason, because, and I'm not a politician, I'm not for President Obama, I'm not for Mitt Romney, I'm not for anybody, okay, because I have my thoughts about politicians. Someday we'll talk about it. However, Obama has just issued to the DOL, Department of Labor, the task of reviewing the Fair Labor Standards Act as it exists for exempt and non-exempt employees. And part of that is to raise one of the qualifications that a person is going to be making in the neighborhood of $50,400 a year. That's $455 a week before you could be considered exempt. That's almost double what it is today. So that's only reasonable. Think of the inflation and everything else that's going on in this world, for goodness sakes. And think of the way that people are being, not chastised, but used in overtime by only making $23,600 and having to work 55 to 60 hours a week. But I did have to read you this bottom part here, because I just can't believe this. Some conservative groups have fired back, arguing that raising labor costs in some cases dramatically ultimately will cost jobs. Do you believe that? Will cost jobs. Why? Because these poor people making $23,600 aren't going to be, they can get overtime now? Isn't that nice? You talk about stress. And then we got this guy, Daniel Mitchell, a senior fellow of the Cato Institute, told the New York Times, there is no such thing as a free lunch. If they push through something to make a certain class of worker more expensive, something will happen to adjust it. Well, you can't get rid of the middle class anymore, because the middle class doesn't exist anymore. So what are they going to adjust? I'm sorry, folks. That's what I have to say for tonight. I hope you enjoyed the show. Tune in next week. We're going to be talking more, mostly about the 40-hour work week and why it isn't good for you, why it's not efficient. And do yourself a favor. Don't work those long hours. Beat cortisol. Okay? Get healthy again. That's what we want to do for you. Have a good evening. Good night. See you next week.
Thanks for watching. If you would like more information on what you just heard today, or you would like to obtain your own copy of The Unfinished Workweek, go to theunfinishedworkweek.com. That's www.theunfinishedworkweek.com.